from Shalom Acres. Probably just saw the video where we butchered a cow. I appreciate the comments. Seemed like some good feedback on there. I want to say thank you for that. And now we're going to go ahead and continue on with the next thing that we talked in there. As far as we're going to go ahead and make some breakfast sausage. So what we've looked at is, we as a family, we've looked up a bunch of different recipes, and we've also used some recipes that we've had in the past. And this is a recipe that we are going to actually use for making 30 pounds of breakfast sausage. So you can see we're going to have 1 cup of brown sugar. We're going to have 1/3 of a cup of garlic powder and onion powder. 2/3 of a cup of salt. We originally were going to do 2 tablespoons of black pepper, but we decided that we were going to go ahead and knock that down to just 1 because we're not a real spicy type family. And then originally we had 1/3 of a cup of black pepper. We decided to take that back to 1/4 of a cup because we put in the red pepper. Sage, 2/3 of a cup. And then the dried marjoram is 4 tablespoons. So we're going to be making beef breakfast sausage here today. Stay with us. We're going to show you a couple little tricks of how we're going to ensure a really good mix. Thanks. Shalom. Okay, so we've got all the meat ground up, both over there and here. So that's 30 pounds. We've got 2 different seasonings mixed up. I showed you the recipe earlier. So now what we're going to do is, all this meat has been ground with a 3/8 inch grinder plate. So that's going to be important here in a second. So I'm just mixing it, putting it all in. Luke's going to go ahead and cover his. Last time we did this on a table, that was because we were doing 50-pound batches. We're feeling good that we can do this in this tray. Try to make it so we have less mess to clean up. And now, the same thing that we showed in the when we were making sausage, I'm just going to go ahead and put some gloves on. And all I'm going to do is mix this together real good with my hands. And then after that, I'll show you the trick that we're going to do to make sure that it's nice and finely ground and it's all mixed in. Okay, so we're mixing right now, and the part that we're getting ready to show, so like I said earlier, we ground this with a 3/8 inch grinder plate. And some of you are probably thinking, man, that looks like they're using like ground chuck as far as how lean it is. I mean, overall, we do like our meat pretty lean. I mean, there's a little bit of fat in here, but overall it's probably in the high 90s as far as percent for leanness, and that's fine with us. We're really excited about that. The piece that we're looking for though here, as far as the seasonings that we put in there, is to give it a different flavor. And one thing you're going to see in the last video we did with making the summer sausage, my gloves were so sticky that they were trying to pull off my hands. Well, in this particular one, that's not going to be the case because there's no actual curing agents in this. So it's just the ingredients that we talked about earlier. All I'm doing is just doing a fine mix. And then what we're going to do is, you can look here on the grinder, we've swapped out the plate on the grinder. So we ground it originally with a 3/8 inch, and now we're going to go ahead and grind it with a 5/16 inch. So that's going to give us the final mix that we want. It's going to allow everything to push together really good. And then in a minute, we'll show that coming through the grinder, and then we're going to take it in the house, and Stephanie's going to start cooking it. So she's going to go ahead and cook all this 30 pounds and separate it out into 1-pound bags. So then that way we'll have it set up for when we make eggs in the morning. That's predominantly what we use it for, or any kind of other breakfast casseroles that she makes. So thanks. Okay, you ready? Okay, so what we're looking for is we're making just little meatball size, and that meatball size fits into the throat of the grinder perfect. We just keep throwing those in there. You can see on the end now, look how fine that's coming out. This first little itty bit probably had a little bit of remnants from just plain meat in it, didn't have seasoning, so I'm going to mix that back in here. But all we're going to do is we're going to do that to this whole 30 pounds. It's going to give us a nice smooth texture. Take any of the little fat particulates that were in it, make sure it's chopped down a little further, and you can just see how nice that looks coming out. So thanks for watching. Be with you in a second.
Alright, so Chris just brought in about 30 pounds of sausage, and we're going to go ahead and ground that up and put that in the freezer in 1 pound baggies, maybe a little bit less than a pound, and it'll be ready for breakfast. We just mix it in with eggs, or if we save some raw, we could actually patty it up and make little sausage patties. We might save some of it and do that. So we'll come back when it's all done. Thanks. Shalom.
Okay, so we're Stephanie's done cooked it all. Here's what 15 or 30 pounds of sausage looks like. What we're doing is we're putting these snack bags, which is just over half a pound, and then from there we're putting those into quart-sized freezer bags. Then we'll go ahead and freeze them. That's what we've got planned, and boy, I tell you, getting a lot of meat in a short period of time is a blessing, but boy, it's a lot of work. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. At the end of this, we're going to show you some cuts of different types of meat that we cut today. Just several different choice cuts and some roast. Hope you have a great day. Shalom. Okay, so what we've got here is, this is your filet mignon. This is the tenderloin. And what I'm doing here is I'm basically taking right at about 1 inch, cutting through almost all the way, and I'm just butterflying it up. Then I take the next one and I actually cut all the way through, pull it out, and there's your filet. So you get a nice large filet. We package these up in 6, so that way everybody in the house gets one. And simple just like that. So there'll be a bag. I'm going to do another one here. So you can see there's really not a whole lot. Once you get your pieces of meat identified where you're at, you can cut through them quick. You know, this is quite a bit of pounds of meat then going away. Stack them up. There we go. So now we've got 2 meals for our family with filet mignon. Now what we've got here is, this is the back strap. So we had this yesterday. You can see the length of it. In a second here, I'm going to show you where, well, actually, let's do it right now. But let us bag these first, and then we'll get it off the table. Okay, so what we have now, we've got the back strap on the table. And I've trimmed it out just a little bit. And this end right here, you can see where this other piece of meat comes in. Where this piece of meat comes in, this starts off where your ribeyes are going to be at. And you can see the larger portion up here. This is where it actually joined with the backbone. And then on the other side, over here would have been the fillet. So if you're cutting a porterhouse, this end portion right here would be your porterhouse, because you've got the larger portion of your fillet and your larger portion of the opposite side on the other side of the bone. So these are going to be just some steaks that we're going to cut, but they're going to be I don't know if it'd be more like a sirloin, but it's the not so tender side of your porterhouse. And then right in here, this is where your T-bones are going to be, because you can see that you've got a smaller portion of meat. And then right here is where our ribeyes are going to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up. And these will just be kind of more or less like I don't want to say I'll treat these like a flank steak, but they'll kind of be like that. I mean, because they're not going to be a choice of a cut. And then when I get down here, the ribeyes, I'll make sure I cut those about 1 inch thick. And this will be our choice cut off the back strap. So hopefully that helps you. Okay, so now we've taken part of what the half that would be on the porterhouse and the T-bone, and now we're just starting to get into the ribeyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut through. So the further you get, you start seeing that extra little marbling. So then starts allowing it to pull apart easier when you're eating it. There we go. So there's 5 nice ribeyes. Cut one more off, and then we're gonna bag those and put them away. So hopefully that helps you understand where some of the cuts come from. People have been asking us, and you know, that's really what it is. Thanks. Okay, so this right here is your brisket. So when we were cutting off the front leg, this is the portion that goes down from the front leg and actually down into where the esophagus is at. This one on this animal was a little small, and I actually damaged it a little bit when I was cutting off the front leg. But you can see, you know, it's definitely how it pulls apart. Really nice. Got the fat in there. Just going to be a great piece of meat. So we're excited to have that. We'll put that on the grill sometime and smoke it. There you go. Okay, so what we've got here is, it's on the back leg. It'd be kind of, it's kind of hard to describe on a person, but this is the upper part that overlays your femur. What I'm going to do with this is, I'm just going to go ahead and cut myself 2 nice roasts out of this area. I think this is another area where people though can cut and you can get some flank steaks from. But for us, we're just going to use it for roast. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it right here and get ourselves probably a nice, I don't know, 6+ pound roast is what I'm looking for. Right here. There we go. So this will be a nice roast that we'll have. I'll probably just trim off this little corner right here, but that's it. We'll have 2 roasts out of it. We'll be good to go.